Okay, here's a very quick video on how to set a cutting blade height on a PCP or an HCP, pneumatic cutting press or hand cutting press. The first thing to do is attach your cutter and see the distance it is from the base plate that you're cutting on top of. So what you do is you turn the whole arbor until it's right at the top. At that point the cutter should be able to slide underneath. Lift that into position. This can be a bit awkward, but you hold it all the way up whilst you tighten the grub screws. Do the grub screws fairly tight. Maybe one on the other side again, just put some pressure upwards so that it's flush against the arbor when you're locking it. Okay, and then before we lock the cutter position in place, we're going to lower it and see roughly what the distance from the cutting board is. So there's a good sort of ½ centimetre between that and the cutting board. So I'm going to leave that up, and now I'm going to gradually bring it down. I'm going to use a piece of paper as the tester to see how close to the cutting board I am. So let's do a couple of half turns to begin with. There's still some clearance there, so I'll do a third. Still some clearance, fourth. Okay, that looks like it's touching. There's no mark on my paper, so I'll do a fifth. Okay, and that's definitely impacted the paper. It's made a cut. Let's just see if that made an impression underneath. So possibly. So ideally we don't really want to cut into the board, but that was 5 half turns and it's just pressing into the board slightly. So maybe I want to come off slightly, which would be about, let's say it was 4.5. But as you can see, if I did it like that, the cutter would be in the way. So what we can do is, keeping the cutting arbor in the same position, loosen the grub screws and reposition our cutting head. So I'm just going to loosen these off. Probably don't need to undo them all the way, just loose so you can twist it. Try and remember where my front point was. Okay, that's loose now, so I'll bring that back to where it was, about there, and then move my cutter so that it's in the horizontal. Again, just put upward pressure, tighten up the grub screws. Another one on the other side. Remember to turn that back to where we want it. And next, what I'm going to do is just put this at a very slight angle so that I can see if there's a fresh impression on the board. So put some paper underneath again, lower it. Okay, we're hitting the paper. We haven't really cut through, but there's certainly no mark on there. So probably in that loose, us turn it very slightly more that way, we're going to put some good pressure onto a piece of paper, which means we're very close to the surface of the cutting board. So this would probably be a good time to bring in whatever your sample material is and make a cut on that. What you should do before that, if you're happy with the position, is to twist the top collar from the cutting arbor up so that it locks into position. And then you can put a tool in there just to tighten that up. Okay, so now let's try with our material. I'm just using a piece of cardboard that's a bit thicker this time. Hold that in position, make a cut and see if we go all the way through. Okay, so we have cut into it, but as you can see we're not quite going deep enough. So again, maybe we want to look at just lowering our blade slightly. So let's do another half turn and just see how deep that impression is with a piece of paper. Cut through, it's just touching the top of the board, so I think that's probably a good location to put it in. tighten in position. Take my sample material again, put it underneath, perform the cut. And you can, if I feel the board, I'm barely making an impression into it. There's this very slight mark, and over time that could get deeper, but by controlling the cutting height, we prevent going through too many base plates in a short period of time. And as you can see, we've cut a really clean sample from our material.